Hello, everyone. This week for public speaking, we are doing research informative speeches. The topic I have chosen is the history of board games. The reason I chose this topic is because many people still play board games and they don't really think about the history and where did the first board game come from? Is that why video games are what they are? Did they evolutionize from board games? Well, I did some research and we're going to go over it. I will start off with the slides big and then make them smaller. Feel free to pause if you'd like to see the image more in depth. Going through time, how board games became by myself. This is a line graph of how the rise of board games are. As you can see, it starts off very low. Once it hits 1950, it starts to go up a little. And then by the time it hits 1975, it's way up. And then by the 2000, it starts going even higher and skyrockets. For this, we will be going over board games have been played for thousands of years. They can be found in homes worldwide. They're still part of modern entertainment and why their history matters. So, board games have existed for thousands of years. The first board game found is dated back to 3500 BCE. It is the oldest board game and it is stored in a museum in Britain. Understanding the history of board games helps us appreciate how they shape culture, as well as learning, as well as social connection. My thesis is that board games have evolved from ancient cultural tools to modern entertainment, such as video games. Their lasting popularity comes from their social, educational, as well as technological impact. This image is the Royal Game of Ur. We will be going over ancient origins, where they come from, Egypt and Mesopotamia, games such as Senet and the Royal Game of Ur, and their cultural and religious uses. This image is the oldest board game recorded. It is the Royal Game of Ur, which was found in 3500 BCE. That is the one that is stored in a Britain museum. They come from civilizations such as Egypt and Mesopotamia. This one specifically, the Royal Game of Ur, was found in Egypt. Senet and the Royal Game of Ur are the two oldest board games known. These games were not only used for entertainment, but also for teaching strategies, representing spiritual beliefs, and participating in cultural rituals. Especially the Game of Ur, I have an interest in because it almost looks like some sort of version of Mancala. Next, this is a really old Monopoly game. As you can see from the black case in the back, you don't really see that anymore. Normally it's the animated version of the Monopoly Man, as well as the board has a bunch of little pictures on it, but this one is just plain. We will be going over the 19th and 20th century growth, which is Industrial Revolution, mass-produced games, companies such as Milton Bradley and the Parker Brothers, and then games like Monopoly, Scrabble, and Clue. During the 19th and 20th centuries is when Industrial Revolution made it possible to mass produce the games, such as Monopoly, which is where it went from that black case to the animated version of the Monopoly Man, and now they are found in nearly every single home. Companies like Milton Bradley and Parker Brothers helped shape the modern board game industry. Games such as Monopoly, Scrabble, and Clue became household staples and part of family entertainment culture. This is going to be the 19th the modern board game renaissance, which are specifically strategy games like Catan and Ticket to Ride, board game cafes, global tournaments, and growing hobby community. This image is one of the first versions of what is known as a video game now as Age of Empires 3. The reason I chose this one for the image is because my boyfriend plays the video game version of it. And you don't really get to see all the little men in this, and it's just putting pins on different locations and rolling dice for the board game, but now you can see every detail in the video games. Today, board games are experiencing a major resurge. Modern strategy games like Catan and Ticket to Ride have become extremely popular again. Board game cafes and tournaments, which board game cafes are where the tournaments are held, have created a global community of players. Like chess, schools now have chess tournaments and chess clubs. This shows how board games have continued to evolve over time and attract new audiences. This is a bar chart. It shows how often people play board games in their house or at school with friends. As you can see, only 0.30% have never played. And then the highest rank out of all of it is weekly, 37.20% of people. We will be going over why board games stay popular, their social connection, face-to-face interaction, educational benefits, and cognitive skills. Board games remain popular because they bring people together to have that face-to-face interaction. Personally, I don't want to be sitting there over a headset talking to my friends. I'd rather play board games and see them face-to-face to create that bond that can't be created playing a video game. They reduce stress, support learning, and help people develop problem-solving and strategic thinking skills, which is really good for school. Their mix of nostalgia from bringing back the older games into newer versions and innovation keeps them relevant across generations. This is a collage of board games that can be found in many households. As you can see, Sorry, Clue, Battleship, Stratego, Monopoly, Candyland, Quirkle, Connect 4, Skippy. Those games I know. Some of them I don't, but most of them I know. We will be going over ancient to modern evolution, cultural and social impact, continued relevance, and traditions that last. Board games have evolved from ancient tools, like Ur, to modern entertainment, like video games, or even the newer board games. They shape cultural learning itself, and social interaction across generations. Whether ancient or modern, simple or complex, board games continue to bring people together, especially for that face-to-face interaction, which is a bond that can't be created if you weren't doing that face-to-face interaction, proving that some traditions never lose their power. Here are the references of where I got some of my information and images from. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for listening.